is such an honor to be joined by one of the most recognized voices in sports, the award-winning sports broadcaster for CBS. He's called Super Bowls, Final Fours, the Masters, PGA, and so much more. Member of the Sports Broadcasting Hall of Fame and proud alumni of the University of Houston, of course, Mr. Jim Nantz. Jim, thank you again for joining today. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing well because I've been looking forward to talking to you for a long time. And I'm very proud of your continued success and rise in the industry. And this is long overdue for a couple of Cougars.
Well, I really appreciate the kind words. Obviously, been really looking forward to this conversation as well. Jim, of course, this year you're calling the Super Bowl again for the sixth time for the NFL on CBS. Last time you called it was Super Bowl 55, the Chiefs versus Bucks. Jim, how do you view this opportunity to call the big game again? Some are predicting it might be a rematch of what was Super Bowl 47 back in 2013 when you called it in New Orleans, the Ravens versus 49ers, and the power went out. How do you view this opportunity this year?
Well, right now, the playoffs are about to begin. I don't really concern myself with what the matchup's going to be in Las Vegas. It's a game to game kind of a situation for me, just preparing for what's directly in front of me. I will have, in all likelihood, seen both of the teams that make their way to the big game. It does live with you, though, pretty much every day for months and months leading up to the Super Bowl. The show is so big. There's so many other things than just the actual 3-hour game broadcast that go into being the play-by-play voice of the Super Bowl. There are all kinds of press obligations and appearances and affiliate obligations, and it goes on and on and on. And I relish it. I don't frown on any of it. So there's excitement in the air. I was thinking about it a lot while watching the national championship for college football. That we're the next big event, and it's the biggest event of all that's on the lineup, and I'm ready for it.
For sure, definitely. I'm really excited with the playoffs. Of course, seeing you call the games, and interesting fact: the first ever Super Bowl I watched was the Colts versus Saints, and you were on the call, and it's quite an honor to be able to speak with you, have an interview with you almost 14 years later from that point on.
Well, that was a memorable one.
Yeah.
It was Peyton and Drew Brees, and I can still remember a couple of things about that game. It was in February of 2010 in Miami, and the Colts were driving to tie the game late in the fourth quarter, and Peyton got picked off by Tracy Porter, who ran it back for a touchdown to kind of ice the game. And then when the game ends, I always am escorted with security to get there as fast as I can down to the field to present the Lombardi Trophy. And I got on the victory platform. We weren't on the air yet with the trophy presentation, but Drew Brees was standing next to me. And I just looked at him and said, "Congratulations, man. You not only won, you just absolutely cemented your future for the Hall of Fame. You're going to Canton." And he kind of looked at me like I hadn't thought about it in that context. I've just created something, my legacy. And we've talked about that several times through the years, how I mentioned that to Drew before they came to us, and he had a phenomenal game that day. His passing percentage was off the charts, and he was flawless. Anyway, they're all thrilled. They're all their own story. I've actually worked 9 total. I hosted it twice, including down in Houston in 2004. No, this will be my 9th. I know I'm all lost on the time. This will be my 7th time to call it, and my 9th overall.
Okay, got you. Yeah, I mean that is truly a tremendous career so far for you, and all the best, of course. And you calling it. Just one more quick NFL question before jumping into UH.
Sure.
The Houston Texans, of course, here in Houston have been truly such a big story. Just an incredible turnaround that they've had from 3-13-1 last year to go to 10-7, ending up winning the AFC South Division for the first time since 2019. CJ Stroud is what looks to be the favorite for Offensive Rookie of the Year. Same thing for D'Amico Ryans and Coach of the Year. Just really interested to hear your thoughts. Obviously, the last time when I spoke to you, that was just the beginning of the season, and it's just taken a completely different turn. So interested to hear what do you think.
Well, I love it. First off, the organization is set up now for a long and glorious run with CJ and Willie Anderson and Willie Anderson and some of these other guys that we have on the roster. I actually got to attend the game in December when I was during the holidays visiting some family and was able to show up late for my Christmas Day broadcast in Kansas City. I went to the Cleveland Houston Texans game on Christmas Eve day, and now here they are meeting again. What do I think about them? Here's kind of how I look at it. I get nothing as far as the say so and how we get scheduled, where we get sent. There are very talented people that make those decisions, but I want to get to Houston as often as I can. Mm-hmm. So we haven't been to Houston to call a game in football for a long time. And now I can see that CJ and D'Amico and this whole team are going to get us back there. I would like to see them make a nice run to electrify the country. You guys have seen it week in and week out what CJ can do. America still isn't totally clued in just how dynamic this organization is. So I'm looking for at least one win where they then get a chance to go against, let's say, a Baltimore and go against Lamar or go against Patrick in Kansas City. And they get to show people that, hey, I've got to watch them, man. This is the team to latch onto. This is the team to schedule in some big windows next year. I'd like to see that happen.
Definitely would. I'm sure the entire city of Houston would as well. And, jumping into UH here, obviously the number 2 UH men's basketball team, they moved up one spot in the rankings this week. First season in the Big 12, starting out conference play this week. They had a big win over West Virginia, first Big 12 win by 34 points. And, of course, competing in the conference, trying to get some quality wins here. What are your thoughts on the season that they've been having so far?
I think this is Kelvin's best team. I watched that entire game. I was in Green Bay, and I watched it all on ESPN Plus. And I texted with Kelvin after the game. We text, stay in touch with one another. I'm just so impressed by how hard we play, the defense we play, and how we don't take any possessions off. Now, it's going to be difficult in this conference to win with the regularity we won when we were in the American. You're going to go on the road here and go into some hostile environments with very good teams. There are going to be losses. You're not going to go undefeated. But I think this team has a chance to be the best there is in that conference and find ourselves back with a number 1 seed again this year. And I think we're capable of winning a national championship. And I can use the word we when I talk about the Cougars. And when they get to the NCAA tournament and we get to the Final Four or the regionals, I'm going to be up there in the stands wearing my red and singing the school fight song.
I love that. I love that. I think that's really awesome. And now, UH football, they've moved into a new era with head coach Willie Fritz, former Tulane head coach, now leading the Cougars into their second year. I think he's done a great job in recruiting so far. UH has, they jumped 25 spots in just under 3 weeks when he started to go out and recruit. UH is 10th in transfer recruiting, 50th in the nation overall. And what do you think of this hire by UH, and what really impressed you the most about Coach Fritz?
He's won everywhere he's been, and he's won with class and dignity everywhere he's been. And I like his family mindset when it comes to his own life and when it comes to our football program. Mm-hmm. And I think this is going to be his final stop. Hopefully it's a long and prosperous final stop. I believe in him. I've done a lot of reading about his background. I'm very excited about Pez going out and getting Willie to come to Houston. He wants to be at Houston. He wants to win. You've just given me some information I was unaware of when it comes to the recruiting, because I know he really got into that late. Mm-hmm. But I'm just really, I think that was a great choice.
Definitely. I think the UH fans, alumni, hopefully we'll see a great performance next season with them, and with the college football playoff also expanding, next season and the years after. Hopefully we can see UH trying to get in there at some point.
We're going to be in there one day. I want you to know, I was watching that game last night and I was thinking, because I know a lot of colleagues who had, like Tracy Wilson, went to Michigan, and it meant
Right.
so much to her. She was at the game last night in Houston. I was thinking, you know what? Someday we're going to be in that. We're Houston. Our school is on the rise in so many different ways. We just have started to scratch the surface here. Our school is a rocket ship, and our football program is going to be representative of that. All the things we're doing with our medical school and everything else, U of H is going to be the place to be. And our football program is going to be we're going to be a national championship contender down the road.
I would hope so. I think here in Houston, they're excited for the future of this team, obviously in the Big 12, and we'll see the run that they can make. And one more basketball question here. Last time you had talked about following the Cougars, in their run in that 6-week time frame that you had, seeing if they can go all the way. Just want to hear the relationship you've had with the team and program. Obviously, last season you were able to call all their games. I'm in the tournament as well.
And my heart still aches a little bit that team, in my last season of college basketball, didn't make it to Houston. I just thought the stars were aligned, man. I was drinking my own juice there. I really began to believe it. And but it's a fickle and funny business. When you get in the NCAA tournament, it gets down to matchups. Are you coming in with momentum? And we ran into a Miami team. And hey, listen, I had to call it right there in Kansas City and be as neutral as any play-by-play voice could ever be. It's interesting. I've been in Kansas City 2 of the last 3 weeks, and our hotel is very close to the arena where that took place. And I mean, I see it when we drive to the stadium, when we drive to the Chiefs practice facility, when we go out to dinner. And every time I look at the outside of that arena, I think about that's where the Cougar dream of 22 came to an end. But I was proud of that team. I love that team. And I love this team too. But that was an exciting time for us, being number one 3 different times during the year, holding the number 1 ranking for 7 weeks. I'm all in. I love these kids. Jamal Shed is just such a great Cougar, such a great credit to the program. I hate to single him out, but my sister sent my son. I have a 7-year-old boy named Jameson. She sent JMO for Christmas a Jamal Shed jersey. He wears it all the time. He's number 1 Cougar Red, running around. We're going to be watching the Iowa State game, and he's all in. And I am too on these kids. They're great people. They're great young men. And we've got a culture there of everything's done the right way. Of Kelvin and his family, it's just to see again the family environment with Karen and Lauren, Kellen. It's special. We got something really good going on right now, and I'm just counting my blessings that we have the Sampson family spearheading our efforts.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Jim Sampson's and Coach Sampson, of course, has done a tremendous job, and hopefully this year we can see them go all the way and get it done. Jim, really appreciate the time. Thank you so much. It was absolutely an honor to speak with you. You've been, someone I've been looking up to for a lot of my life, and quite an honor to speak to you and hear your thoughts. Thank you so much.
Well, it's great to see you again, number 1. Number 2, it's impressive the number of guests that you've had on your podcast before. It's a great credit to you. And number 3, this won't be the last time that we talk. I'm cheering for you, man, and everything you do. You're so impressive. And we're proud to be in the Cougar family together. I'm very proud of you. Keep up the great work.
Well, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much, Jim. Thank you.
All the best. Okay. Give I met your dad at the dinner. Give him my best too, would you please?
Of course. Thank you. Definitely.
And as you hit in there, tell me what you just said about Willie on the recruiting. What have we done?
In the first 3 weeks, I believe they jumped 25 spots in national recruiting.
To what? Where are we?
I think it was from 97 to 71 or something of that sort, something like that. 95 to 70. I think that was kind of the jump that they had.
We needed to move up, and he's going to recruit like crazy. And think of next year when he actually gets a whole year to be able to work with these kids. Good for him. I'm excited.
Yeah, me too, for sure.
All the best. Have a great year. Okay.
Thank you, Jim. Good luck.
See you at the Final Four. Bye-bye now.
Bye.
Bye.